Alright, if you're expecting some really good criticism here, you're gonna be disappointed, because I'm just gonna sit here and gush about a crazy movie I watched. So I just watched a movie called Hanky Panky. It is a comedy, horror, mystery, sci-fi, yada yada yada. It's pretty good, okay? It's so good that it has a 3.7 out of 10 on IMDb, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of those so bad it's good movies that I could watch like 1,000 times and still not be bored. We follow this really freaking strange man named Sam who goes to a dinner party filled with freaks and weirdos and idiots and rude people, and everybody's out of place there, and they all just come together to have dinner and talk about something. I don't even remember why they're there. It's not even important, okay? But Sam goes there, and Sam has this really weird quirk where he talks to himself. That seems normal, right? It seems normal. No, he is talking to his hanky. He is having actual conversations with his hanky, and every mess that gets spilled, everything he gets on his hands, everything that a hanky can soak up, the hanky's gonna soak up, okay? And that hanky loves it. He's really into soaking stuff up. I feel like I'm making this weirder the more I talk. It's so strange. Anyway, so at this party, some strange happenings start to occur as the people that own the house that invited them there are acting a little weird, acting a little strange. There's also a neighbor that came and kind of like invited herself in, and she brought food, and she's a horrible cook, and she's just so nice and sweet and weird and suspicious and mysterious, and she's randomly burying something outside at one point. And I'm not gonna spoil why she's weird and suspicious, okay? I'm just gonna say that she is. It's obvious, okay? It's not the spoiler. Why am I talking in a Russian accent? I'm going crazy. So we got her name's like frickin' Kelly, I think. I don't even remember. And then you got this one girl and her husband. Is her name like frickin' Carla, maybe? I think her name's Carla. Carla and her husband Cliff. Cliff and Carla. Sounds good to me. If not, I'll just talk about the kind of character they are. It don't frickin' matter. So Cliff and Carla kind of hate each other. They spend like the majority of their time on screen making jabs at each other, just escalating the situation and making the tension even more. It's more in a playful comedic way for us, but for everybody else at the dinner party, they're pretty freaking uncomfortable because Cliff's kind of an idiot and Carla married him, so she should know that, but she kind of just, I don't know, it feels like she pushes things too far. So they fight a lot, and then whenever they get separated, Cliff starts to think about how much he actually loves her and he wants to make things better, and that becomes a major plot line. This weird I want to restore my marriage type of plot line, and it's not bad because of because it does conclude. Let's just say that it concludes. So we got those there, and they add to the I don't even know what I'm saying. My brain is rotted from this, but it's enjoyable brain rot. I swear it's enjoyable brain rot. I'm not dying, you're dying. So we got those two, and then we got the freaking creeps, alright? We got like freaking Rebecca and, that's not right, Rebecca and Norm maybe? Rebecca and Norm? Are those the bad guys? I think those are the bad guys, Rebecca and Norm. They're freaking nut jobs, alright? You know they're bad from the first 5 seconds on screen, alright? The hanky tells you that there's something off with them. You can see that they're a little weird, one's a little bit robotic, a little bit out of place, alienated for lack of a better term. And since everybody there's a screwball, if one of the screwballs thinks 2 other screwballs are even bigger screwballs than that screwball, then there's a big problem with all those screwed balls. So you obviously know that something is wrong with them, and they end up being bad guys. Why they're bad guys, I'm not gonna say, but they be bad guys. We also got a feller named Dr. Crane. He's probably one of the better characters. I thought he was like hilarious every time he was on screen. I really liked him. Him and Sam strike up this weird friendship, and it works pretty well. They got some chemistry. I liked it. And Dr. Crane's wife, we're not gonna talk about her because it feels like a spoiler to say literally anything about her, but let's just say it's gonna be surprising whenever you find out what's being hidden away from your eyes for the first quarter of the movie. And I'm pretty sure everybody that's in that freaking house. I feel like I am not forgetting anyone, but if I am, then they must really not be memorable because these characters stick out like sore thumbs. So while they're all in this house, somebody ends up getting murdered first, and then everyone's like, oh no, somebody here's suspicious, we can't trust anyone, we can't trust you because of this reason or you because of this reason, and it's played off for laughs and it gets a couple other people wiped off the board pretty quickly. And while that's all happening, there's also some characters that end up going on a hike to look for something, and they end up in this place where they're like hiring a freaking kite, self-exploring their life and figuring out what they should do next and whether or not their past was worth it, and getting very introspective on how things should be. And it's basically the normal I get high, I think better types of scenes you see in movies. It's very cliche, and I think it's supposed to be, but it also serves a bigger purpose, and I can't tell you what that is because that's a spoiler, but we'll get to that, okay? I might make a spoiler review in a separate video, or we might talk about it here. I haven't decided yet. So once these bodies start cropping up, we gotta figure out what's happening and solve the mystery. And given all the suspicious actions we see up till that point, it starts to become really hard to figure out who might have actually done it, because you do want to think that it was the creepy creepers that decided to invite you to this house party and act like absolute weirdos. But since everybody's a weirdo, you still gotta be a little bit wary as an audience member. Now, the only one that you might think you can be okay with thinking that it wasn't is Sam, but given the fact that homie is talking to a hanky, he's not really a reliable source to really depend on either. And I think the movie really shines for the amount of time that we don't know whether or not we can trust this character or if we can trust that one. They do a good job making sure that you know certain characters are innocent at first, so we can build little parties, little investigation units and play detective together, and they have some really good interactions because of those moments, so I'm really glad that they do that. And once we get to figure out what is actually going down, we get some rather impressive fight scenes where you can see the wire that is involved and everything is extremely fake, but it is so enjoyable to watch, dude. It is hilarious. I loved it. I loved everything about this movie. It is so cheesy, it's so freaking cringy, it is so weird that it is fun. This is probably one of the only so bad it's good movies I've watched that I actively enjoyed every single moment of it. It was so freaking stupid I couldn't look away, and I had so much fun watching it. And the people that made the movie, you could tell that the actors involved were having a blast. It literally felt like I was just sitting here watching people enjoy themselves, even as they were getting brutally and bloodily killed. It is such a weird experience. It's not a movie that you can say, oh, it's good because of these very high class artistic things, but it's not a movie that you can just sit here and be like, it's terrible because they don't have great effects and a huge budget. With the budget that they had, they actually took those limitations and they ran with it. They made something that was hilarious because they didn't let the limitations limit them and instead made them limitless, which is crazy to even say. It's an oxymoron that actually works and is applied correctly here. I was just flabbergasted by the amount of fun I was able to have sitting here and watching this stupid movie. It was amazing. I'll watch it again. I will literally watch it with anyone that wants to watch it with me. It is a blast. It is so much fun. And if you watch this with a girl and she doesn't think it's funny, then that's a red flag. That's how you should really figure out if she's the one. No, I'm kidding. Kinda. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'll make a separate video for spoilers. I've been talking so long I feel like my throat's about to explode. But for more news, reviews, and whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed. Have a great day. Thank you.